morning, Mama.
Twice in one morning, it's enough to give a girl heart failure.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
Well, how'd you get in?
The back door was open.
Oh, Lucy must have left it open when she left.
Oh, Lucy's not here. Shoot, that's too bad. Especially since I went and got a peace offering this morning from Kelly's Kitchen. Fresh breakfast rolls.
Ruby probably baked them, huh?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Well, I'm not hungry, but it was awful sweet of you to bring them.
Well, sweet rolls for sweet ladies.
Sugar, there is nothing remotely sweet about your cousin Lucy. Nor me, for instance. But I will heat them up for you, though. You were so sweet to bring
Not
them.
necessary. They're still warm.
Good heavens, you must have flown over here. Go ahead and sit down. I'll pour you a cup of coffee.
Oh, now, Mama, I don't want you to fuss.
No, it's no trouble.
Yeah, well, I guess I've caused enough of that, didn't I? The way I introduced myself to Lucy's husband.
Well, don't go blaming yourself. How were you to know?
Well, knowing Lucy, I probably should have guessed.
Well, maybe, but if anybody's to blame around here, it's probably me. I think I might have fibbed to you in those letters I wrote you about being a guest here.
Well, maybe I just misread, huh?
No, between you and me and the gatepost, you didn't. I out and out lied to you.
Maybe just little white lies.
Well, I suppose you could call them that, but it seemed like the right thing to do at the time.
Oh, Mom, I'm sure you didn't mean any harm.
Well, I couldn't just come out and tell you the real situation, could I?
Well, that's what I don't understand. Why not?
Well, because I didn't want you to be ashamed of me.
Why would I be ashamed of you?
Honey, when you run out of cash, that's one thing. And when you run out of husbands, that's another. But, boy, when you run out of both of them at the same time, then you're in deep... Well, you know what I mean. I think I will have a little taste of this.
Why not?
So when I got here and found Lucy living in a one-room little dingy apartment, you know, and I thought, boy, this is just in the nick of time, because I needed someplace to rest and recoup, if you know what I mean.
Yep, I sure do.
Yeah, and Lucy was having a little regrouping session of her own with Tony, and, well, they finally worked it out and got married, and then she moved in here. Well, I couldn't just move right in right away, you know what I mean?
Well, if you say so.
And so we cooked up this little... Well, I guess you could call it a scheme, but that doesn't sound so good. It was really just like a little game, you know? I'd pretend to be the maid, and it was a perfect solution for everybody, and it worked real good until...
Until I blew everything by coming in here and announcing who you really were. Boy, oh boy. I sure owe Lucy an apology tonight. Where'd you say she went, anyway?
Well, she went over to General Hospital. But don't you go over there. Oh, Sugar, if you think you wrecked things between Lucy and Tony... Think what would happen if you made a mess with her great big hot-shot friends over at the hospital. Poor relations like you and me just don't fit in.
Well, I never had any complaints before, especially from women.
Son, do me a favor. Lay low until all this blows over. Oh, I've got to go up there. You know, this is pretty good, even though Ruby did make it. Pour yourself some more coffee, and I'll be right back down, okay?
Yeah, okay. Hey, Mama, I'm gonna take off, okay? I'll see you a little bit later.
Would you please tell my husband if you see him that I will be in that office?
Of course I will.
This is as far as we go, at least together.
Oh, well, we'll be waiting outside. Good luck, Dad.
Thanks, son.
As Tom said, we'll be waiting, and we're going to be praying. Darling, how are you feeling? A little groggy?
Not too groggy to say I love you. Don't worry, Audrey. Everything will be all right. I understand this place has some real good doctors.
The best. Oh, Lucy, how sweet of you to come by.
Oh, well, Audrey, I wouldn't, dream of not coming.
Well, it's very thoughtful of you. I certainly do appreciate it, and I know Steve will, too.
Oh, well, I want you to know that you have my support, and Tony's, too. We'll be pulling for you.
Yes. Excuse me.
Well, I have some work I could do. I'm not sure I'd get much done, though.
The very reason I canceled all my appointments for the morning.
Yeah.
Very quiet now, just for a moment. Can we begin?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, team. You ready?
We're ready.
Let's go, Scalpel.
All signs are normal, Doctor.
Scalpel. Just for 1 second here. Hold on.
Yeah. It's right under there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Put
you're
a
good.
clamp,
Yeah.
please.
Okay.
That looks good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah. I think
nice.
that's the one.
She's fun.
Sure, thanks. Amazing. How's he doing?
Fine, Doctor.
All right, see that? Hold it. Right there.
I've got
Tight. Hold on to it tight.
it. I've got it.
I'm going to give you a hand here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it.
Come on, Mom, sit down. You've been on your feet all morning.
Oh, I'm too nervous to sit.
Well, maybe we can go in the lounge or an office or something.
No, I just want to stay right here, please.
Audrey, I'm so sorry. I wanted to be here when Steve went in.
Oh, but you're here now.
Well, I had a problem in the nurse's station, and never mind about that. How are you? Yeah, I know. Me too. I've been doing a lot of praying.
Thank you for being here.
Well, you can't imagine I wouldn't be here in a crisis. After all, I've caused enough in the past, haven't I?
Well, haven't we all?
Yeah. And here we are. As the song says, still standing. But don't look at me like that. When Steve gets out of all this, he's going to be singing the same song.
Yes, sir. What'll it be for you? A diamond for your lady? A watch for yourself?
Oh, not today. It's police business. I'd like to ask a few questions. Do you recognize this ring?
Well, that's a very interesting piece.
We know it was purchased here. We just don't know when or by whom.
Well, I've only had the place 2 years.
Well, even so, you must have records.
Ah, yes. Records.
Mm.
I'll go check. They're exquisite, aren't they?
They're expensive, too, I bet.
Well, for some people, yes. For you, no.
The only thing I'm interested in today, sir, is information.
Ah. Well, I can't seem to find any record of the sale. And you know those records only go back 2 years.
No, I think it's back a little further than that, possibly in 1984.
Ah. Now, those records are in the basement. They're very hard to get to. It'd take a lot of my time. Time's a precious jewel in itself. Don't you agree? Very valuable.
How valuable?
Oh, almost as valuable as this piece.
I'm sure. How much for this piece?
That's worth about an hour of my time, maybe.
I can see where we're going with this.
Sir, I didn't suggest for a minute that I wouldn't look, but your attitude might make me forget.
And your attitude might make me get a search warrant.
Which, again, takes time.
Actually, I think my lady would love that piece.
It's quite expensive.
Worth about 3 hours of your time.
Indeed.
Take checks, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
While I write the check, why don't you try and locate those records?
I just remembered I know exactly where they are. I'll be right back.
I'm sure. Well, I do for friendship.
Mr. Robert Scorpio is here.
Who?
The police commissioner from Port Charles. Don't you remember he called earlier for an appointment?
Oh, yes. How could I forget? Do you know what he wants to see?
Well, it shouldn't take too long to explain.
It's all right. Dick Owens, Mr. Scorpio, pleased to meet you. Sit down.
Thank you.
I'm not too familiar with your city. I understand it's quite a town.
Quite. You've never been there?
Flown through on business, that's all.
Then I don't suppose you know too many people.
Unfortunately, no.
What about Grant Putnam? You do know Grant Putnam.
The name's familiar.
What about the man?
I've been in practice many years, Mr. Scorpio. I've had many clients through the years.
Grant Putnam was one of them, or should I say, is one of them.
Could be. Putnam's not an unusual name.
I didn't come here to play games, Mr. Owens. I want information about your client, Grant Putnam. I want to know where he's been since day one from leaving the funny farm.
This man you're speaking of, has he been charged with anything?
I'll say this once more, Mr. Owens. I didn't come here to play games. Now, this man, as you so call him, has possibly damaged my daughter for life and may have even killed her mother. Now, he was your client, wasn't he?
I see no reason to deny it. He hasn't been arrested, has he?
Look, I'm going to have you arrested very shortly for hampering an investigation if you don't tell me what I want to know. Furthermore, I'm going to have your client reduced to toast on the electric chair. Now, Grant Putnam was in Port Charles 1, maybe 2 weeks ago. Possibly he's still there. Tell me, Mr. Owens, how do I find him?